We begin this story from a place of uncertainty, because that uncertainty is exactly where General Hospital seems to want us to stand. We find ourselves listening closely, not just to what is shown on screen, but to what is hinted at, whispered, and left deliberately unresolved. The moment the voice of Faison echoed through the loudspeaker, everything shifted. It was not just a sound. It was a reminder of a past that was supposed to be sealed shut. For Anna, that voice was never neutral. It carried history, trauma, unfinished business, and a fear she has never truly escaped. And for us, it reopened questions we thought had already been answered. When the voice first appeared, we could rationalize it. We told ourselves it was technology, manipulation, or a calculated psychological tactic. The idea that Pascal could have engineered an artificial version of Faison's voice made sense within the logic of the show. We have seen how far technology can be pushed, especially when someone is determined to exploit another person's weaknesses. Anna heard the voice. Yes, but she was alert, aware, and grounded in reality at that time. That detail matters. It suggested that what she heard might not have been real in the human sense, but real enough to destabilize her. An artificial voice can still cut deeply if it is precise, familiar, and timed perfectly. Now, however, the situation feels different. The suggestion that Anna may hear Faison's voice a second time raises the stakes in a way we cannot ignore. This time, the context appears altered. Anna may not be fully grounded. The possibility that she is experiencing hallucinations changes how we interpret everything. If she hears the voice again while her mental state is compromised, we have to question whether the voice exists externally at all, or whether it is emerging from her own fractured psyche. This is where General Hospital excels, drawing a thin line between psychological breakdown and external threat, and daring us to guess which side of the line we are actually on. We have to ask ourselves what the show gains by bringing Faison's voice back into the narrative now. For months, his name barely surfaced. He was treated as a closed chapter, a villain whose story had ended definitively with his death. The official storyline never suggested otherwise. And yet, recently, his name has been spoken again, not casually, but with intention. We hear about a final project attributed to Faison, something unfinished, something dangerous enough that others might want to study it, revive it, or weaponize it. That alone suggests that Faison's influence did not end with his death. Even if he is gone physically, his shadow remains active. We cannot confirm what is real at this point, and that is precisely the tension we are meant to sit with. The official canon of General Hospital has not declared Faison alive. When he is mentioned, it is always filtered through layers of doubt. The show seems careful, almost cautious, about how far it goes. It gives us just enough to speculate, but never enough to conclude. We are told that the voice Anna heard could be artificial. We are also shown that Anna's perception may be unreliable. Both explanations are plausible, and that ambiguity is intentional. What complicates matters further is the revelation that Anna may also be hallucinating when she encounters Liesel. Liesel is deeply tied to Faison emotionally and historically, so her presence in Anna's hallucinations, if that is indeed what they are, feels symbolic. It suggests that Anna's mind is pulling together fragments of unresolved trauma, guilt, and fear, blending them into something that feels real enough to hurt her. If Faison's voice emerges again under these conditions, we cannot immediately trust it as evidence of his return. It may be Anna's subconscious replaying a thread it never fully processed. Still, we cannot dismiss the other possibility. General Hospital has a long history of undoing death. We have seen characters return who were once declared definitively gone. Nathan came back. Brick came back. Their returns rewrote what we thought we knew about permanence in this universe. Once that door is opened, it never fully closes again. So when we ask whether Faison could return from the dead, the honest answer is that it is entirely possible. In fact, within the logic of the show, it is even likely at some point. The writers have taught us not to trust finality. If Faison were to return, the question becomes how and why now. Would he reveal himself directly, or would he continue to operate from the shadows? The use of a loudspeaker feels theatrical, deliberate, and cruel. It is the kind of move Faison would make if he wanted to announce his presence without fully exposing himself. It allows him to assert control, to destabilize Anna, and to remind everyone that he is still a force to be feared. If this is truly Faison speaking, then the loudspeaker is not just a tool. It is a message. But we must also consider that someone else could be using Faison as a symbol. The mention of his final project suggests that others may be attempting to complete or exploit his work. In that scenario, the voice becomes a psychological weapon. Whoever is behind it understands how deeply Faison affected Anna and knows that invoking him would be the fastest way to unbalance her. That kind of manipulation would be effective precisely because Faison is supposed to be dead. The shock alone would be enough to shake anyone. We find ourselves circling back to the same unresolved question. Is this about technology, psychology, or resurrection? The show refuses to answer, and instead invites us to speculate. Hypothetically, all three could be true at different stages of the storyline. Anna could initially be targeted with an artificial voice, then later experience hallucinations as the stress compounds, and finally be confronted with the revelation that Faison never truly died. That layered approach would allow General Hospital to stretch the mystery while deepening its emotional impact. Naturally, this leads us to wonder about Anders Hove. His portrayal of Faison left a lasting impression, and his absence has been felt even after the character's death. If Faison were to return in any meaningful way, it would make sense for Anders Hove to reprise the role. The question of whether he is currently involved with the show remains unanswered. We do not know if he is behind the scenes, filming new material, or even in discussions with the production team. All of this remains speculation, and we must be clear about that. We are predicting, not confirming. Still, the idea that the show could be quietly preparing a reveal is hard to dismiss. General Hospital has often kept major returns secret until the last possible moment. If Anders Hove were back on set, it would not be the first time such a development was concealed. The suspense itself becomes part of the storytelling. Every hint, every mention of Faison's name, every distorted voice over a speaker feeds into that anticipation. At the same time, we have to respect the possibility that Faison will remain dead, and that this storyline is about legacy rather than resurrection. His final project could become the catalyst for new conflicts, new villains, and new moral dilemmas. In that case, Faison's voice, whether artificial or hallucinatory, serves as a reminder that the consequences of his actions are still unfolding. He does not need to be alive to continue causing damage. His ideas alone are enough. Anna's role in all of this is central. Her experience anchors the story emotionally. Whether she is hearing a real voice or imagining it, the effect on her is the same. It forces her to confront memories she would rather forget and challenges her sense of control. Watching her navigate that uncertainty is where the drama truly lies. We're not just waiting to find out if Faison is alive. We are watching to see whether Anna can trust her own mind. As we move forward, we remain in a state of waiting. We wait for official confirmation from General Hospital. We wait for the storyline to clarify whether the voice is technological, psychological, or something far more unsettling. Until then, all we can do is piece together the clues we have been given and acknowledge that nothing is impossible in this world. Possibly, Faison is gone forever. Possibly, he is closer than we think. Possibly, the truth lies somewhere in between. What we do know is that General Hospital is deliberately reopening old wounds and asking us to question what we believe. It is reminding us that death is rarely the end, that voices from the past can still shape the present, and that certainty is a luxury its characters are rarely afforded. As viewers, we are invited to share in that unease, to speculate, to doubt, and to hope for clarity that may or may not come soon. In the end, we can only watch and wait. We can analyze every hint and debate every theory, but the truth belongs to the unfolding narrative. Whether Faison returns in body, voice, or memory, his presence is already being felt again. And until General Hospital tells us otherwise, we remain suspended in anticipation, ready to accept whatever revelation comes next, no matter how shocking or unexpected it may be.